Manga has ballooned in popularity these days, and some of you may not be able to easily travel to your nearest bookstore, or maybe you don't have the funds to buy volumes and volumes of manga. Don't sweat it, because there is another way to access manga right from the comfort of your own home, and that is what I'm going to talk about in this episode. This is Otaku 101, and class is in session. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, here's some important information, especially for you newcomers, on what manga is and how it came to be. Manga primarily has two definitions. First, Western audiences view manga as comics specifically originating in Japan, while Eastern countries typically see manga as a catch-all term for any kind of comic. The artists who create manga are known as mangaka, and typically they're the story writer and the illustrator. But there are exceptions. Manga is typically released in weekly or monthly chapters by a publishing company like Shounen Jump, and if it builds a large enough audience, the chapters are collected and published into volumes called tankobons, and down the line it can even receive an anime adaptation. Manga's unique form has even inspired other countries to create their own kind of manga. Let's get to how you can find manga. The digital route is a solid alternative because you can download them straight to your smartphone and start reading immediately. The cost for digital manga is generally cheap, or even my favorite price, free. Not to mention, it's still a great way to financially support your favorite mangaka artists. Now, Shounen Jump and Viz Manga contain a massive collection of titles that come straight from the premier publisher, and it only costs you $1.99 a month. You heard me correctly, $1.99 a month. Now, you get access to both apps, but know that most of the content between Jump and Viz is the same. Regardless, it's still by far and away the best deal out there when it comes to manga reading. Especially if you're looking for the most popular titles, then you need to get this one. You do realize that an unlimited access to the hottest Shounen Jump manga for a month is cheaper than a Big Mac. So skip that McDonald's and subscribe right away because it's too amazing of a deal to pass up. Manga Plus is owned by Shounen Jump's sister publisher Shueisha, which means you'll find many of those same titles here too, with new content, usually within the seinen and josei genres. The best part about Manga Plus is that you don't have to pay a dime. But hold your horses, because there is a caveat. You can only read each chapter once for many of these titles, and after that, you have to go to the Shounen Jump app to reread. So if you're strapped for cash or want to test out some of these manga titles, this is a good alternative, but please be mindful of that caveat. Bookwalker is an app store from Japanese publisher Kodansha, where you can buy manga and light novels in volumes, just like if you were in Barnes & Nobles, without actually going there. For those unfamiliar with light novels, I do plan to do an in-depth episode in the future, but a good rule of thumb for now is this. If you notice a manga or anime with a comically long title, and I mean comically long, then there's a good chance it was adapted from a light novel. This is a great option for those who may not have easy access to a local bookstore, or maybe that bookstore doesn't have in stock the titles they're looking for. Light novels in particular can be harder to find digitally, so if you do prefer them, then Bookwalker is your best bet because of that rather unique library. Webtoon is an app specifically built for its namesake comics, so a webtoon is a Korean digital comic, specifically meant to be read on your smartphone or computer. The app is home to a large number of titles, both in original works and adapted from popular manhwa titles. Webtoon is also free, so you can start reading immediately, but know that many of the title's latest episodes are locked, and the only way to unlock them is to use their coin system. You can pay for coins or earn coins from special events where you need to read specific titles to earn them. Popular webtoons have recently been adapted into anime and live-action series, and while the overall track record has been all over the place, either way you look at it, this is a trend we'll be seeing for the foreseeable future, so you should take a look at what Webtoon has to offer. There are many diamonds in the rough, and I highly recommend anyone who hasn't explored Korean comics to do so. If you enjoy watching anime and you haven't read manga yet, then I highly advise you to do so. Manga is as popular as it's ever been, but even today they can still be hard to find sometimes. Whether your local bookstore doesn't carry the titles you're looking for, or you don't have the funds to purchase them by volume. These digital options are easily accessible ways for you to start reading while still supporting your favorite mangaka. Now, I've mentioned quite a lot throughout this video how important it is to support the manga creators. That's because they work so very hard making this content, as it's nearly a 24/7 job. Many work long hours and forego essential livelihoods like sleep and even physical ailments in some cases, to crank out these stories every week for us to enjoy. Now, I wish there was a better way we could make each manga creator's life easier, but the best way we can help is to purchase their manga. So grab your computer, phone, or whatever device you got and read some manga. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, or send me an email at hassyverse@gmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter or Facebook, and if you like what you're watching, feel free to subscribe by clicking that platypus to keep up with my latest videos. Class is dismissed, and stay nerdious.